Hello and welcome to this Google Hangout. I'm glad to see there's quite a few people here. I invited a lot of small business owners that I've known for years and that are in some of the forums and areas that I like to hang out. My name's Jeffrey Taylor. For some of you that already know me and those of you that don't, I'm a local search optimization professional. I've been doing this for about 18, going on 19 years. Wow, time flies. Basically, what I do is I help small businesses just like yours get up on Google and get your business and your website in front of customers in your local market that would be interested in what you have to offer. What I'm here to talk about today is something very important for small business owners and for those of you on here that are also local search specialists that maybe are a little bit confused about what's been going on lately with Google Local. This will be a good opportunity for to clarify some things and give you some perspective on what's going on out there and why these major changes have made it more important than ever for small business owners to get their Google business listing in order, also known as their Google My Business, Google Places, Google Plus Local. There's a myriad of names that Google's used over the years, but it seems like right now they've settled on Google My Business, which is also known as a GMB. A GMB page would be your business listing. So what I want to discuss today is basically something that occurred back in August of 2015, where 57% of local business owners dropped off page one of Google in the local results. And they just woke up one morning and they went online, and if they were looking for their business listing, suddenly everything changed. And a lot of you are wondering, what did Google do and why did they do it? Why would they suddenly take almost 60% of local business owners that work hard and are honest business people off page one for no apparent reason? First of all, I'd like to clarify that this was not a penalty at all. You didn't do anything wrong if your listing was one of the ones that disappeared. Google just changed the way they display local businesses on the Google search results pages. And it's their search engine and it's free, so they have the right to do it. So now what's happened is with Google changing these local search results again, page one of Google for your keywords, for the keywords that you would use in your local market to find businesses like yours, is completely different now. And again, 60%, almost 60% of local businesses just got the axe. They just disappeared. So what do you need to get your business on page one of Google for your best keywords? I mean, at this point in time, maybe you've never been on page one before, so you really don't understand how important it is and how many phone calls and how many customers you get when you appear on page one. So to you, maybe you don't understand the loss, but you're here because you would like to get more phone calls and get your business to show up on page one so you can get in on the action where all the people are looking. As you know, I don't want to get into an overview of why you should be online with your business. If you don't know by now, you may never know. I'm not going to start going through statistics about how many people search online today and that the yellow pages are dead and la da 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 da. I mean, you've probably heard that 100 times. I don't need to reiterate that. So let's focus on what's important, and that is what's going on with Google Local right now, and what can you do to increase the chances that you can get your business on that highly coveted page one where all of your customers are searching to find your type of business. Well, the biggest changes that were made back in August of 2015 was the local search pack, which was also known as the 7-pack, where Google would display 7 local businesses with the little dot or the little teardrop and the map on the right, and people could click on one of those businesses and get in touch with you. So if you were one of those 7, you were getting a certain amount of clicks or phone calls or visits to your business or website because you were on page 1 and you were in a prominent position where people could actually see your business. So now the local search pack is only 3 businesses. 4 businesses got cut out overnight, and that really hurt a lot of people. A lot of innocent business owners suddenly were hurt by this disappearance of their listing. So now this 3-pack, which we have affectionately named the snack pack because it's gone from a 7-pack to a snack pack, is what Google is displaying. The map has been moved to the center of the results page now, pushing paid ads, pay-per-click, Google AdWords higher and more prominent position for viewers, and it's pushed the free organic results a little bit lower on the page. So in a sense, if you look on your mobile phone, your Droid or your iPhone or whatever it is you use, you'll see that the desktop results look almost exactly the same as the mobile results. So here's a picture of the old 7-pack. This is what used to show up. You see here, you've got 7 businesses. Some of them have the stars with reviews. You've got your AdWords above it, your AdWords to the right, and then below it, your organic. And that's what's been showing up for quite some time. This particular image, they are a mortgage broker in Calgary. So someone typed that in and this is what showed up. And depending on where you were here and how many reviews you had, people would call you or click on your listing or go to your website. But the bottom line was, if you were here on page 1, you were probably getting phone calls and visits to your website. So that's the 7-pack. That's what we used to see. This is the new Google Snack Pack, and it may have changed a little visually since I made this video, but basically what Google's done now is they've put this in the middle of the page. Here's the ads, and then there's ads above it and organic below it. But you'll notice the map is now here, and there's only 3 businesses listed. One of these businesses happens to be one of my clients. But here's the thing. This is the way it's showing now. So instead of 7 businesses, there's only 3. And this is very important. If you look down below here, you'll see the little hamburger, see where my cursor is. And basically, that's what you usually see on a mobile phone that you click on if you want to get more information, a navigation bar, whatever. So if some people, maybe a certain percentage, will definitely click on this and they will be able to see 20 of these listings. So if you're in the top, let's say 10 of these listings, there is a chance that some people will see you because a small percentage of people will click on this more wood floor installation and pull up more listings. But the majority of viewers will not. That's a fact. They will probably click on one of these 3, and in most cases, they'll probably click on the one that has the most reviews or has the best reviews. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, about how important reviews have become in this digital age and why, as a small business owner, you cannot ignore the importance of getting good reviews to show up in your Google business listing. So this is the new Google Snack Pack. This is what everyone is seeing. It doesn't look to me like Google's going to change this. They may, we don't know. There's been rumors flying about Google going to paid in this section where businesses will have to pay for that presence, but right now it's rumors and we'll just have to wait and see what they do. So Google no longer shows that traditional listing page, which was your Google business listing. And if you recall, when it showed up on your page, you could click and it would take you to your Google business listing page. That's gone. they're now showing what's called a knowledge graph. And the knowledge graph has all the information that's in your Google business page, all the stuff you've put in there if you've set one up already, or all the stuff you will put in there if you haven't gotten a Google business page yet, a GMB. Google's now pulling information from that page and putting it into what we call a knowledge graph. So if you mouse over one of these here, and it'll show up, a little graph will show up here with all your business information, reviews, photos, and all that. That's what they call the knowledge graph, and that's what Google is now displaying. So Google's pulling information from your GMB to use it here. That's why having a properly set up and claimed GMB is so important. So what does this mean for you guys, your local business owners, or you search engine specialists that are trying to explain to your clients why they dropped out and what needs to be done to get them back in there? Well, if you're one of those businesses that was in position 4 through 7, you're probably already seeing a drop in website traffic and phone calls because you're not there anymore. I mean, that's reality. You're not there, so people aren't finding you. So in a sense, some small businesses will invest more money in paid ads, pay-per-click. They're just going to say, you know what, I've had enough of this. I can't deal with the stress. I'll just get out my credit card and pay Google to show my ads. Unfortunately, pay-per-click, Google AdWords only gets a certain percentage of clicks on the page, so you're still missing out on opportunities by just doing paid ads. But what it does mean is having a verified and optimized Google business listing is more important than ever, because Google is pulling all that information and using it to determine whether you're going to show up on page 1 or not. So you really have to focus on getting your listing claimed, verified, and optimized the way Google wants it optimized. Just setting up and verifying a Google local listing page doesn't guarantee you anything, and in a lot of cases, a simple mistake could lead to you just not being found ever until you fix it. So why are the Google local pages no longer showing? Why can't I find my Google local listing? Why is it so hard now? Well, Google's always redesigning the results page. They've been doing that since Google was started in 1998. But they probably realized that most searchers didn't care about that page, your Google business page. And they just wanted the info on it, the phone number, the address, the link to the website. They weren't really, or access to the reviews. They weren't really interested in the page itself. So Google probably saw this and decided to create the knowledge graph that pulls out of your GMB, your Google business page, and shows it on the page. So another theory that's been rolling around is that Google just wants you to give up and stop trying and start paying for pay-per-click. I don't believe that. I think Google is going to do what Google does, but I don't think it's a shakedown to make more money. I think they just are trying to change the pages and the way they show up and make it better in their eyes for the user. I might disagree with their theory, but that's what I think they're thinking. So the Google Knowledge Graph, when you pull up your listings on the page and you scroll over it, this is what I'm talking about with the Knowledge Graph. This is going to pop up all the information. This is all coming out of your Google My Business page, your reviews, your photos, your website link, your phone number, your address if it's listed, your hours that you're open are all going to show up from this listing over here in the Knowledge Graph. This is what's replaced your Google My Business page. The Google My Business page still exists. It's just Google's not showing it anymore. They're not providing links to it on your listing or anything. But this is what they've pretty much morphed it into. So just be aware of that. The information you put in your Google My Business page is still extremely important. So the reason that your Google local info and getting it right is more important than ever is because obviously there's more competition to grab a top 3 spot to get into that snack pack. That's probably one of the most important aspects, because if you want to get more business, if you want to get more phone calls, getting in that top 3 spot is really important. So Google's still pulling info from your Google My Business page, your local page. So as long as they're pulling info from there, you need to have it up to date and done properly. And you must have accurate information in there. If Google created a page for you, or you have an old listing that somebody set up for you several years ago, it's not going to be good if the information in there is not accurate. So where's local search headed? Well, it's headed toward mobile. That's a fact. I mean, every single statistic, every single study, everything is showing that more and more people are using their mobile phones and their notepads to find local businesses. And why is this? Because it's convenient. A lot of local business searches are being done while people are not at their desk. They could be in their kitchen, they could be in the backyard, they could be at the football game, they could be sitting on the beach, they could be driving down the road looking for a restaurant, they could be in their basement looking at a pipe that's leaking. There's a lot of reasons that they're going to use their cell phone, mobile phone, to search for local businesses, but the main reason is it's convenient. It's the best way for them to be able to do their searches and find local businesses. So Google's going to continue to design stuff that is geared around mobile searches. So keep that in mind as you're building out websites, doing anything. Make sure everything you do is geared toward mobile searches, or you're going to get yourself in trouble down the road. First of all, do you have a verified listing? This is what the Google business page looks like. It hasn't changed any. It still has your logo, and it still has a big picture, and it still has the verification thing here. It still has all the information. It's just really not accessible anymore for the average person. You can still get to it, but the average person probably won't see this. They're going to see that knowledge graph that we saw that I showed you earlier. But the main thing is it verified? So if you have a Google business page, or you can find one online, do a search, do a phone number search for your business, do a name search for your business, and see what pops up on page 1. And you can find a page. If it's not verified, if it doesn't have a check mark in here, it's not verified, and you need to get it verified. And there's simple steps to do that, but you need to have a verified listing, because that's the only way Google can really understand that you are a legitimate business. An unverified listing doesn't show Google that you are a legitimate business, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of unverified listings out there that have been created by who knows who, and a lot of them have been created by Google, because Google's always scraping the internet looking for information, and they may create a Google business listing for you based on information it sees out there. So make sure it's verified. Then you want to do a search and make sure it's the only listing. You can't have 2 listings for your business. It violates Google's guidelines. Google will penalize you, and it will hurt you in the long run. So if you do a search, and I use a certain piece of software that does searches for me, I put in the business name, the zip code, and this one found 2 local listings. Now the first one is legitimate. That's their address, but you'll notice the phone number is the same. The business name is a little bit different address. Well, this company moved to this address, and now there's a duplicate out there. Need to get rid of this. Already did, but you need this. This is not going to be acceptable, especially since it has the same phone number. Google seeing the same phone number on 2 different listings, that sends up a major red flag in Google's eyes, and it will hurt you in the long run. So you want to get all that cleaned up. Make sure there's no duplicates out there, that you only have 1 listing. Now, if you have multiple locations, let's say you're in a larger city and you've got 5 business locations around the city, well, then you should have 5 separate local business listings, all with 5 separate phone numbers. You can't use the same phone number. That's a common mistake that I've seen over the years with multiple business owners, where they have 1 central phone number for all their businesses, and then they put that central phone number on all their Google local business listings, and then they can't understand why none of their listings show up in the search engines. Well, that's the reason, because you can't use the same phone number for all your businesses. Google does not like that at all. Is the information accurate? And this is so important. Your phone number, your website, the category, which is really important, getting the categories right. So many people make mistakes with the categories, and the proper order, the proper categories. Hours have become extremely important with mobile search, and one of the main reasons why is Google doesn't want to send searchers to your restaurant at 10 o'clock if you close at 8. So if you're closing at 8, you want to make sure your hours say you close at 8. If you're a local plumber and you do 24-hour emergency service, well, you don't want to show your business is closed, because if somebody's searching at 12 o'clock midnight for an emergency plumber and you have down hours 9 to 5, Google's going to display your business listing as closed, and that person may not call you. So hours are very important. Get them right. Make sure they're consistent across the internet and all the different places and directories that you're listing. Are you a service area business or brick and mortar? And this is probably one of the most common mistakes that I see. Hold on one second. I'm going to take a little break. My throat's getting dry. Thank you. A service area or brick and mortar? Well, basically a brick and mortar is a business that people come to. A service area business, or an SAB, if you see that acronym, is someone that generally works out of their house or has a small office that nobody comes to. Plumbers, electricians, a lot of service area businesses do not have a place of business that people physically come to. So if customers physically come to your place of business, you're a brick and mortar. But if you visit customers or clients at their location or off-site, you're an SAB, a service area business. When you set up your Google account, if you mess this one up, it's going to be a big deal. This is very common mistake, very common that I see all the time out there, and it has to be fixed, because number one, it could cause you to get your listing actually removed from Google. Google, if they suspect that you are a service area business and you're listed as a brick and mortar, they'll do a kind of sneaky phone call and they'll just delete you. They won't give you any warning. So make sure you define whether you're an SAB or a brick and mortar. Citations. This is a whole separate topic, because citations are one of the most important factors in how Google sees your business on the internet. We talk about citations. What a citation is a mention of your name, address, and phone number somewhere out on the internet, meaning it could be in Yelp, Yellow Pages, Angie's List, Kudzu. It could be on YouTube. It could be on somebody's website, your website, of course. Google's looking for name, address, and phone numbers, and when it sees them, they're called a citation. But what Google's looking for is consistency. They want to make sure they see the same name, the same address, and the same phone number on all these different sources of information. So if Google sees a name, address, and phone number on your Google My Business page or Google Local Listing, which is your central focal listing, and then they see on Yelp the same name and address but a different phone number, that sends up a red flag. That can hurt you. Or a different address, or your name. Let's say a lot of people try to throw keywords into their names to try to be sneaky, thinking they're going to fool the search engines. You can't do that. Your name, address, and phone number need to be consistent on all your citations. When Google sees these citations, they want to see consistency. That tells them you're a legitimate business. That tells them that they can trust you and that they can put your business higher in the search engine results, because you are who you say you are where you say you are, and you do what you say you do. So what Google is seeing out there on the internet is going to determine whether you're a legitimate business. Reviews. Wow. They have become so important with this new Google listings, because reviews are what people are using now to validate their purchase decisions, or what restaurants they're going to go to, or what movies they're going to see, or what plumbers they're going to call. All these businesses, local businesses out there that are not focused on getting good reviews are going to get hurt in the long run. Because if I'm looking for a taxi, And this is what pops up on my mobile phone. Let's say I'm at a restaurant, my car broke down, I need a cab home. So I go online and I pull up. I'm in St. Augustine, Florida, and I need a taxi. So I hit my search and boom, 1, 2, 3 shows up. Well, guess what? Here's Green Taxi St. Augustine, 5 stars, 52 reviews. Guess who I'm going to click on first? I'm going to click them first for sure because they got a 5-star rating. They got 52 reviews. They stand out. Even though they're number 2 on the list, this is probably who most people are going to call or visit first. So be aware that reviews are going to have a big influence on whether people do business with you as we move forward, especially if you're in the restaurant business or you're a doctor or plumber or service industry. When someone's looking for you and you haven't been referred by a friend, they're going to look at reviews. And if they see a slew of bad reviews and it can't be validated with good reviews, they're not going to call you, and it's going to hurt you. And eventually, unfortunately, it may cost you your business. And we'd hate to see that, especially if you're a good businessman and maybe you're just not paying attention to the 1 or 2 people that didn't like your business and put something up there. You need to be talking to your customers, your best customers. You need to be encouraging them to go online and say good things about you because it's going to help you, and you need to explain to them why it's going to help you. So, and if they're a good customer, a satisfied customer, they're going to be more than happy to go online and say good things about you. So don't ignore reviews moving forward. Very important. All right, here's a big one. The scams. Wow, this is huge. And this is what I probably get most of my phone calls about lately. I just got a phone call yesterday and I got one this morning, in fact. And here's the thing. The robocallers, the telemarketers are really hitting hard. They are out there and they're calling up with all kinds of sales gimmicks and all kinds of, your Google business listing is only 50% complete. It's not showing up. Your Google business listing is at risk of being suspended. Your Google local business listing is this, it's that, it's this. Please press 1 to find out how we can get your Google business listing up on page 1. Don't do it. Hang up. These robocalls and these telemarketers, unfortunately, for the 1 or 2 that are legitimate, most of them are scams. They are not, they don't work for Google. They don't work with Google. Google's not going to call you and try to sell you anything. Google's not going to call you and tell you your listing is going to be suspended. Google doesn't do that. If Google's going to suspend your listing, they're just going to suspend it. They're not going to call you first. So when these people call you and tell you that they're going to do all these wonderful things for you, don't believe them. Hang up the phone. Okay? Here's the thing. Can the company you hire crack the top 3? What will it cost to get you there if they can do it? So when they come and they tell you that they guarantee you they're going to get you in that top 3, there's no guarantee they're going to do that. So don't fall for that. Don't get caught up in that hype that will get you to the top 3. It's become much, much harder to get there. And even if they charge you what you feel is a fair price, you could waste months and never get to where you want to go. And then, of course, should you do it yourself? And that's always kind of an option. If you're technologically sound or you know a little bit about the internet, you can consider doing your Google local business listing stuff on your own. So that's another option. But if you're going to do it yourself, you can't wing it and hope it works. You can't pull up a 2-year-old how to do it workbook and hope it works. You've got to find a guide that's current and adheres to the Google guidelines, that is up to date on all the Google rule changes, all the Google stuff. Unfortunately, in our business, in the search engine optimization business, it doesn't take long for whatever's going on now to be outdated. I mean, something 3 months ago is outdated today. So if you're going to find a guide or a tutorial that is going to show you how to do this yourself, you need to make sure it's current and it adheres to Google's guidelines. You need to fix what's broken before you move forward. You can't move forward if you've got penalties and then you've got duplicate listings and things like that, you need to fix those first. You can't move forward until those things get fixed. And above all, you need to be able to allocate a couple hours a week to getting it done. Okay? It's not going to happen on its own. So if you can't do any of those things, then I would definitely look to hiring a professional that knows what they're doing, has a track record, and is credible. So here's what I'm going to do to end this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed what I was able to tell you. Obviously, this could go on for hours and hours if I was to go over every single little thing involved in your local business listing. The main thing I wanted to get across today is how important your Google business listing is. Moving into 2016 and on, that business listing, with the rise of local search on mobile phones and the rise of local search being used by people to validate who they're going to call, you have to get on top of that Google local business listing. A lot of you guys listening to this seminar right now don't even have a business listing yet, and you're probably wondering, oh my God, you know, what am I doing? How do I do this? Some of you on this call have a Google business listing, and you might have been in that 7-pack, and suddenly back in August you disappeared, and you're still showing up, but you're just not cracking that top 3. And then there's some of you out there that have done everything you thought was right. You got it up there, you did the work, you verified it, you got the Google postcard in the mail, you did everything the way you thought you're supposed to do it, but your listing just isn't showing up anywhere. And you can't understand it. You're scratching your head. You know, why is this happening? And generally it's because you did something wrong. And it might have been minor, it might have been major, but you did something wrong. Something did not, you missed somewhere. It could be citations. There's a lot of different reasons. But the main thing is, if you're going to do this on your own, or if you're a local search consultant and you're a little bit confused about how all this works, all these changes, and you want to help your clients and you want to get your clients back on track and you want to get it so they're not calling you anymore, asking you, you know, when is my listing going to show back up again? You know, what happened to my listing? You know, are you going to do your job? Well, I'm going to recommend that you look into my new product, which is called Local Listing Crusher. And we put this together actually back, we started this in the spring, and we had it almost completed and ready to launch for the public when Google came out with this huge change in August. So rather than release a product that wasn't up to date, which I won't do, we held off and we went back in and we waited to see what Google was going to do and what changes they were making and how it was going to affect you, the small business owner, and the search engine optimization specialist. So we, you know, basically sat back down at the drawing board, looked at the changes, made the changes on the videos that we put together in the training tutorial, and then we were able to put this together. And the great thing about Local Listing Crusher, and I strongly urge you to go to that web page, is that we're using a complete video tutorial system, and that tutorial system can be updated. If you buy an ebook, and here's why I'm not a big fan of selling ebooks in the search engine optimization world. An ebook can't be updated. Once something changes, once Google changes the rules or does something, that ebook's outdated and you can't go in and change it because the ebook has already been printed out. But with a video tutorial where you actually log in and you have a password and you become a member, if something happens, I can update it. I can update the website. I can update the video. I can bring it to your attention. That's the wonderful thing about Local Listing Crusher. If Google changes the rules again, we'll be able to update you and keep you in front of the latest cutting edge information. That's so important in today's day and age, because if you get a month behind of what's going on, it could cost you your listing. It could hurt you in the search engines. It could definitely hurt your business's bottom line. And by getting this information, you're going to get information that your competition is not getting. And what better way to stay ahead of your competition than to be informed as things are happening rather than 3 months later. So what we're going to do here, because you're on this seminar, is instead of charging you full price, because when we put this together, we had agreed that it was worth at least $300. And so we wanted to, that's what we're going to sell this thing for. And it's well worth it. Trust me. You'll spend thousands of dollars hiring a company to get your stuff straightened out. But we've decided that we're going to offer it for the webinar attendees, not at $297, not at $97, but if you go to Local Listing Crusher right now for a very limited time, we're going to offer this to you for $47. I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. So I suggest you act today before the price goes up. And one of the nice things is once you get in there and you see what's in there, all the different modules, all the training you're going to get, I also offer you a money back guarantee, no questions asked. So if you get it and you don't like it or you don't think it's for you, you get your money back. We're not trying to take your money. We're trying to help you. But we also understand as a small business owner, you're on a budget. We want to make it so that everybody can afford this. So act today, get on it, go to locallistingcrusher.com, sign up, pay, for $47, you're going to get so much training that you will be able to get your stuff going. Now, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you page 1 rankings, because that I don't guarantee my clients that. But if you do everything in the tutorial the right way, you are definitely going to increase your chances by a huge margin that you'll be able to get your business listing in front of more people and generate more phone calls and more business. So I would get on this today. Now I just want to thank everybody for coming today. I've gotten a lot of emails with questions and answers, but because of time constraints, I am going to have to end this now. But if you do have any questions, you can go to localgoldmine.com, which is my business, my local SEO business. Ask any questions. My phone number is on there. My email address is on there, Jeffrey Taylor. You can't help but find me. If you type in Jeffrey Taylor, local search specialist into Google, I will show up. So you can get in touch with me if you have any questions, or maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you have the budget and the resources to hire a professional and you just want to talk to me about your options and where you stand. Fine. That's up to you. But the main thing is take action, because this is so important to your local business to get that listing cleaned up and get it showing up on Google. So I just want to thank you all for sharing your day with me. And again, if you need to contact me, you can find me at localgoldmine.com.